So we just keep moving along, running, and the bass keeps running. I love that. For those of you all who are new to hip hop, that was an old leaders of the new school, how they used to get everybody pumped up. Now I know Black Eyed Peas, they did their own version, but when you looked at a live show where leaders of the new school would open a show, Busta Rhymes and Dinkle D, Marlo and the Dance. I'm telling you, hip hop in the 90s, the early 90s was wild. But as promised, Marvin Lewis, the Marvin Lewis, Cincinnati's own. Marvin Lewis is back in the NFL. Now, this comes from Chris Rowling out of Yahoo Sports. Former Cincinnati Bengals head coach Marvin Lewis might finally make the NFL return. According to the NFL Network, Tom Peslaroni, don't get me, like I said, I don't know him personally, so he can't get mad. Too many E's and S's and E's and RO's in that one, so let's call him Tom. Tommy P. Lewis is expected to have a spot on the staff of the new Las Vegas Raiders, according to Antonio Pierce. And just like 4 years ago, when I saw Detroit hire their head coach, when I seen Antonio Randall, he's in there in a coaching position, a position coach. I seen Mark Brunell as a quarterback coach. I was only hopeful that Detroit would just be where they are because you got football people in the room making decisions. Now, Lewis helped Pierce this last season after the interim coach found himself promoted mid-season before ultimately earning the job. Before that, Lewis spent 2019 to 2023 with Arizona State, serving as a special advisor and co-defensive coordinator while largely not having a name pop up in NFL coaching rumors. And that's, you know what, for guys like Marvin Lewis and the NFL isn't mentioning his name, I think he enjoyed that. Because he spent so many years in Cincinnati where the NFL is very popular. It's one of America's popular games outside of baseball and basketball. And with the way the NFL is now, NFL is a year-round thing. They're looking at what players eat, where they go. And I mean, if I'm Marvin Lewis, I enjoy being gone. That's the truth. But we'll dig into why it makes sense for the Raiders and all of the good things that they have when they got it right the first time, when we take a quick break from another unofficial sponsor of the show. Yes, Burger King, have it your way. BK, have it your way. A Whopper, any signature Whopper series, download the app or visit the good folks down at your local Burger King. BK, have it your way. All right. So the Raiders, they have the third most cap space in the NFL at $49 million. They sit fourth in effective cap space at $39 million. They only carry about $5 million in dead money against the organization, and they freed up about $29 million when they cut David Carr. In the 2024 draft, the Raiders have the 13th pick in the first round. So that is that's really good because you can find some people who didn't go as high as they would, or you can find some real gems when you're looking. Just depends on if the Raiders feel like they found their quarterback. I love the coaching tree. The coaching tree of the Raiders is rich. I mean, you got Antonio Pierce as the head coach. On the offensive side of the ball, Scott Turner's there. That's Norv Turner's boy. He's the passing coordinator. He's got 11 years of experience. And Pierce needs that. He needs to lean on that experience from Scott. Edgar Bennett, he's the wide receiver coach. He's got 31 years of experience. Cameron Clemens with the O-line, 4 years of experience. Also, this is his 4th year with the Raiders. Kennedy Palomalu is the running backs coach. Mitch Singler, offensive coordinator. And then you got Fred Walker, the offensive assistant. I like all of those things. Now, one thing I did not like is when I saw Rob Ryan. Rob Ryan is on the defense as a senior defensive analyst. Outside of the New England scam, I think the Ryan scam is even more obtuse than anything because these guys are getting hired because of their dad, Buddy Ryan. That's the only reason that you hire Rob and Rex. That's the only reason that you hire those dudes. And they gave them this assumption that when they were in Baltimore, when Rex was anyway, he was there with Marvin Lewis. And they gave him this whole architecture and building that early Ravens defense that was nasty and can get after the ball. The only problem is when Rex went to the Jets, they never had that. Yeah, he pulled Bart Scott away, and I think Bart Scott's last hurrah before he just went on making people sleep on CBS listening to his color commentary. He told, I think it was Sal Paolantonio, can't wait. I mean, that was his contribution in a Jets outfit, and then a butt fumble by Mark Sanchez. What's he doing these days? Yeah, but Rex Ryan, and then Rob Ryan was the defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. And he had like 1 or 2 good years, but after that, Dallas was getting ran out of the gym. Ran off the field at will, couldn't stop nobody. And they would talk about this Rob Ryan defense. Knock it off. If their dad wasn't Buddy Ryan, nobody would hire those two. They would not hire those two. So, yeah, I like the Raiders. I like everything they're doing in the silver and black attack. I even posted that question on there. And is Marvin Lewis on the Oakland Raiders staff a good thing? And yes, it is. With everything that Pierce is going to have to put his hands in as a first-year head coach, I think that Marvin Lewis brings nuance to that role. When you have trusted defensive personnel, you can concentrate on other areas of the ball that they need. Now, the AFC West just got a lot of interest in. Denver, they seem to be in a perpetual rebuild because Russell Wilson isn't going to give the money back. So he's going to wreck that franchise for $80 million. Then LA is going to be what LA is. I don't care where you reload the cake. The team, it was in San Diego. Now you moved to LA, but still the same results. I don't really know why you move. It's not an improvement. And Kansas City is still the big dog. But now you have a tooled up Raider team and they could start knocking at the door. Kind of like, remember in the early 2000s when you had the greatest show on turf? And those guys could go out and beat anybody. But somehow the Saints always had their number. Aaron Brooks and those guys always played them very tough. It's kind of like that. They're playing these guys very tough. And this could be, like I said, it could reignite the rivalry. Andy Reid, Antonio Pierce. That's something that I look forward to next year. But I could be wrong. Anyway, let me know what you think. As always, you know how we do it. We just keep the show rolling. This is Big Vern.